Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund.
Welcome to Beyond the Badge, a program about the inner workings of the Edina Police Department. Thanks for joining us. I'm Officer Brian Hubbard. Many accidents involving motorists and pedestrians are caused by drivers who fail to signal their turns. At best, it's discourteous to others sharing the road. Failure to signal your turn is a violation of state law and is this month's theme in our Focus In initiative. Focus In is a new awareness campaign of the police department designed to highlight public safety hazards posed by failure to comply with common laws.
We've always been very aggressive in traffic enforcement in this community for multiple reasons, both for roadway safety, crime reduction, etc. So it fit in very easily with our mission statement, so that's why we decided to pursue it.
Unfortunately, the lack of citations issued for these types of violations sends the message to some that these infractions are acceptable, but they are not. Edina Police hope through public education, compliance will increase, allowing officers to use their time for other priorities throughout the city. Barring exceptional circumstances, the ownership of a firearm is a citizen's right, but as with all rights, they are best protected by one's personal commitment to responsibility. Guns require mindfulness, not only in proper handling, but in proper storage as well. Let's go to the Southwest Metro Public Safety Training Facility, where Officer Aaron White is with Chief Jeff Long to talk about tips for storing sidearms responsibly and maintaining the utmost in safety within the home.
Thank you, Brian. We're back out at the South Metro Public Safety Training Facility today, and I'm joined by Police Chief Jeff Long. Jeff, thanks for being back on the show.
Thank you.
And some people probably are wondering why I'm starting an interview holding a gun.
I think there probably are a few.
For our viewers' sake, and also to emphasize our point today, I start with an unloaded gun, of course. I want to make sure everybody understands that we respect extremely the safe handling of firearms, but I think the point for us today is we want to talk gun safety. So you recently wrote in your blog on the city's webpage about this issue, which is why we decided to bring you here today and talk a little bit about this. Can you give us some tips, give the viewers some tips about how to keep these things safe? Because no matter what happens with gun control, guns are here to stay in some regard. They're out there. Let's keep them safe today. What can we do?
Well, what first brought this to my attention is the fact that I have to sign all handgun purchasing permits for residents of Edina. And the number is up significantly. Last January, we issued about 30. In January of 2013, I'm up to about 150 permits. So a significant number is out there. And I'm giving permits or signing off on permits to people that have never had guns before. And I didn't want people to think that this is just a different city issue. It's an issue here in Edina. Your neighbors, your friends, where your children play, there's going to be guns, and we need to help keep the kids safe. And as you said, no matter what happens with the gun debate, we have 200 years worth of guns circulating in our society, so they're not going away. So what can we do to keep safe? Almost every gun that you purchase comes with a very simple gun lock. It's usually one of two varieties. We have one that is that will just lock over the trigger so the trigger can't be pulled. And then this device here is one of our favorites. If I can
Absolutely.
Check your gun, I'll double check it for safety to make sure it is unloaded, and it is indeed unloaded. But a simple device such as this will simply slide through the action, down through the magazine holder, and lock.
This is the basic protection we're talking about here. This is something that if you didn't get it with your gun is a couple bucks at a store. There's no excuse to not have that baseline.
Right.
What are some other ways people should be securing guns?
Yeah. More ideal than this would be storing your gun in a secured lockbox or secured safe. Mm-hmm. And also store the ammunition separately. And if the ammunition is stored separately, the gun is unloaded and in a lockbox that no children should get to it. Mm-hmm. But I would also encourage people to have conversations in their family and with their children. You always think that my kids won't touch a gun, but I think it's very important that we do talk to our children about that because there are more guns out there than we've ever seen. So we need to help families have these open discussions, and it's just very simple. Lock your gun.
Well, and again, that I think is a great illustration of how simple it can be. If people are going to get that permit from you or going to buy a firearm, whether they're experienced, whether they're new to it, that's the message, isn't it? We got to add that piece.
Right. One of the things we are looking at doing in the city here is holding a gun safety class. We want to hold a class in which we can invite families and just teach them what to do if they find a gun. Not how to use the gun, but what if you find a gun and what do you do? And one of the things we're going to talk about in that class would be the laws relating to when you can and can't use a gun for self-defense.
And again, who knows where gun politics are going in this country? None of us, I don't think, have any idea or sense of where that could go. But we do know there are guns out there today, and that's really what we're asking is let's be safe with what's there and not have a tragedy here in the Twin Cities metro area.
That's right.
Well, Jeff, thanks for sharing this important message today.
You're welcome.
We'll look forward to your future blog entries on the City of Edina's website.
I appreciate that.
Thank you. Chief Jeff Long at the Edina Police Department, and we'll return to you, Brian.
Thank you, Aaron. One Edina police officer is celebrating 4 decades with the department. For a generation, Detective Mike Lutz has worked on every high-profile case in the city. Edina 16's Dietrich Nissen has more on his experience and accomplishments.
4 decades have gone by since Edina detective Mike Lutz put on his first badge.
It hasn't been a struggle at all. Enjoy coming to work most of the time, and time just went by fast.
Now Lutz is the longest serving officer in Edina history, a title he took from one of Edina's original village marshals, Hilding Dahl.
Hilding carried badge 104 for as many years as he was here, 36, 37 years. And then when I started in 1973, I basically took his position and took his badge.
Before becoming an investigator, Lutz spent 12 years in patrol and 1 year as a volunteer coordinator. But for the last 27 years, he specialized in child abuse and sex assault cases, building a network and reputation as one of the area's top experts.
He guides us through our investigations, and he is our go-to guy on the big and major cases.
Mike's a very diligent worker, very good at what he does, very good at interviewing, very good with kids.
In order to commit for 40 years, you have to love what you do, because with our system, people just don't stick around that long. But Mike is dedicated. Mike loves Edina. He loves what he does. He loves helping people. And that's what I think keeps him going. He thrives on public service.
We need to serve the people. It isn't always the easiest thing to do, but to serve the people that you're working for is the most important.
A responsibility many of his coworkers admire, yet few will carry as long as he has.
That's a lot longer than I'm going to put in, but it's surprising to see him go out there and he comes to work every day wanting to go out and arrest people, wanting to go out and clear cases.
Mike's work ethic is something that needs that the younger generation needs to look at. He is here every day. He doesn't take vacation. He shows up. He's at his desk. He's on the phone returning voicemails and emails even before I even get the coffee started.
It's this kind of praise 40 years working with other officers has earned Lutz, and it's a source of pride for the veteran investigator.
I hope that's part of my legacy, that I was in the trenches for a long time, working with fellow officers, side by side.
Something these men will remember long after he retires later this year. In Edina, Dietrich Nissen, Edina 16.
Lutz helped establish the local Explorers program for youth to learn how law enforcement works. Before becoming a police officer, he also served in the United States Air Force. On behalf of my co-host, Officer Aaron White, and the rest of the officers of the Edina Police Department, thanks for tuning in to learn a little bit more of what goes on beyond the badge. Until next time, stay safe.
Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund.